and head coach Lindsay Gottlieb. We will invite Coach to offer up an opening statement and then open it up to you all for questions.
Great. We've never got walk-up music before, so that was cool. That's an upgrade. Thank you all for being here. Always an exciting day, and particularly for me, being back after a short hiatus, and just really proud to be representing USC, to be here with Liz and Jordan. This conference somehow found a way to get tougher in the 2 years that I was gone, which means the challenge will be greater, but I'm looking forward to it. We have a special group of young people that have really bought into everything that I've tried to bring. Change is not always easy, but they've really embraced it, and I think it's going to be a positive thing for us, and just looking forward to this year with them and to competing in this conference.
Lindsay, welcome back. You described your time with Cleveland as a short hiatus. What did you learn about yourself as a coach there that's going to help you at USC?
Hi, Cindy. It was life-changing. While it was short, I think it was a chance for me to get out of my comfort zone, to do something that was scary and hard, but really powerful. It's the greatest professional sports league in the world, with the best players, the best resources, and I just had an opportunity to grow in so many ways. And so I always thought that I would ultimately probably come back and be a head coach. I didn't know when or where, but USC isn't ordinary. And when Mike Bohn and his administration kind of came after me and the opportunity presented itself, I knew this was the right place at the right time. But I also knew I wouldn't come back unless I felt like I was going to be better, sort of version 2.0 of myself, so to speak, with different my mind expanded, different basketball resources at my disposal, and more just a different mentality. And just an opportunity to come back and pour into a different group of student athletes and do some special things. And so I think that there's a lot of ways that I'm different. I mean, we could talk technically. I think there's the use of analytics and my basketball mind in terms of spacing and things like that. But I think just also a renewed commitment to saying this thing is about just having these people reach their dreams, right? And what my impact can be. I think that's the biggest thing.
Respect the hustle. Alissa Charleston, Pac-12 Networks. Lindsay, I'm curious, when you say analytics, how do you think that plays out in women's basketball in the Pac-12 conference? How do you apply that in a literal sense this year?
I mean, I don't think analytics speaks any specific language to women's basketball, men's basketball, pros, or college. I think it's just the idea of the way you see the game. How do you want to play? What are the type of shots that you want to get? It's a great tool for self-assessment. Like, how can I make individual players better by teaching them a little bit more about where they want to attack on the court and how they want to be efficient? And then from a opponent scout situation as well, what are you trying to take away? So in the NBA, like, the games just keep on coming. It's just game after game after game. You don't really have practice time, so you have to find ways to improve in short windows, and improvement looks different depending on the situation you're in, right? So we had a lot of young players, and we were trying to, get them to understand, passes or, outcomes per touch and things like that. So do I use all of it every day? No, but I think it informs the way that we're trying to play. And hopefully get us to the point where we're a really successful basketball team, because we're playing a way that reflects I think what can be the most effective strategy for winning in women's basketball.
And then question for Alissa and for Jordan. How have you guys seen that difference with having a coach that has coached NBA for sure, but has been a successful coach in the Pac-12 before? Have you seen some of those intricate things like work out with practice so far, with what she's brought from what she's learned in NBA?
Workouts have been so much different. Practice has been different. It's just a whole different energy for our team. And people just really want to work hard and come to practice every day and put in 100% together. So.
And also, I just want to add, just having the opportunity to play for somebody that just has so much knowledge allows us to, grow our own game and just learn each other as a group.
Hey, Coach. David Yapkowitz from USCBasketball.com. Just what have you seen out of your front court early on? I mean, you have Alissa and a couple other returners in Jordan Jenkins and Angel Jackson. You got a couple freshmen coming in, Clarice and Rhea. You know, they can play a lot of different styles. You can play in the post. You know, they can stretch the floor and shoot from three. Just, you know, how crucial is that front court going to be to your success this season?
Well, you said it. You just listed 5 of them, right? And I think a lot of people would be happy to have any one player that you just listed, and we have 5. And so it's been really fun. I've had the good fortune to coach a lot of talented front court players, you know, some of whom are now in the W. But this group is really unique, and it's unique in, I think, as you said, the varied skill set. So I've thought about ways I've got to be able to get more than 2 of them on the floor at once. So we've experimented with Alissa Pili point guard, Alissa Pili on the wing, posting up. I mean, I'm not joking. Actually had a long conversation with Stan Van Gundy the other day about how he used Zion last year, watching some Giannis stuff. I mean, I have to find ways to be tough to guard and to be able to use that varied group in a lot of ways. So it's really unique in that they're all very different, right? Like Clarice and Angel have the size. Rhea and Liz and Jordy have versatility. So it's been fun to work with them. I think the sky is the limit, and we're still figuring it out, and that's part of my challenge throughout the years to find the right combinations and matchups. But as long as they stay bought in, I think that's the type of group that can take pride as a group and say, we want to dominate. It might be this person this night, this person that night, but if they're bought into what they can do as a group, I think that's really important for us.
And then Alissa, you know, I know last year you talked about incorporating the three-point shot into your game a little more. You know, last year you didn't shoot as many threes as you did your freshman season, but you shot a higher percentage. You know, Coach, you know, was right now talking about how, you know, experimenting with you at point guard and your versatility there. Just kind of how's that coming along in terms of being able to expand your game a little bit?
Like Coach has said, it's been fun experimenting and doing all the things I used to do in high school. It's definitely new in the college level, but you know, I'm having fun with it, and I'm just gaining my confidence and being as best I could be in any position. So.
Hey, welcome back, Lindsay. Joan Bomasini from Pac-12 Networks. Alissa, I love watching your game. Well, first of all, are you healthy right now?
Yes, I'm healthy.
Yeah. So, you know, listening to this, and how is your team different? You know, you mentioned the practices, and the team really is working, which is scary because you have good athletes, obviously. Lindsay here. Like, what are your expectations for yourself this year? I mean, you were freshman of the year. You're different, as you know, than any other player, I believe, in the Pac-12. You're different. You bring a lot of different variables to the game. What are your expectations for yourself?
I have really high expectations for myself this year, especially last year not doing as well as I wanted to coming off of an injury, but I think that I could do really good this year, and it's really just up to me and putting in work and gaining my confidence back. My expectations are really high for me and my team.
And for you, Jordan, you know, you guys have always had a lot of good players on your team. What is the difference, and what's it going to take for you guys to mesh together and really reach the potential that USC has?
I really think it's just going to take us learning each other again and growing together as a team, especially with the new coaching staff. We're kind of getting into the groove of things, but I mean, it's going to take some time, but really just learning each other, playing together, just getting comfortable, really.
And last question, Lindsay, you know, now you're back recruiting again, okay? So is it a lot different recruiting at SC versus your previous school?
I think it's a lot different recruiting at SC than anywhere in the country, right? You're talking about USC. I would not have returned if I didn't feel like it was an opportunity of a lifetime. This is a university that has really a Mount Rushmore of women's basketball history. You know, I mean, you were in LA at the time, right? From Cheryl Miller to Lisa Leslie to Coop and Tina Thompson and the McGee twins. I mean, it's really insane. And so now to kind of get this group and future players and people who are in the program now to say there is no limit to how good we can be, that's an exciting thing. And I don't think, there are too many schools across the country who can say that and really believe it, but it's a challenge because we haven't been at that level in the last, several years in recent history. But yes, it's different to recruit to USC, I think, than almost anywhere else would be.
Hi, Coach. Kevin Dana with Pac-12 Networks right here. Coach, I just want to kind of follow up on that recruiting question because your first recruiting class is top 15 in the nation. You bring in a couple of McDonald's All-Americans. What can you tell us about the freshmen you're bringing in? And also, kind of to the last couple of points you were making, what is kind of the excitement you see on the recruiting trail with USC basketball since you've had the Trojan polo on?
Well, I can't take credit for recruiting the class. I'm very, very fortunate to inherit that class and really glad that they decided to stay when a coaching change happened, which again, I think speaks to the university. People come to play for USC. I don't necessarily know that they come to play for a particular person. And also I think the team and the administration did a really good job of wrapping their arms around those young women when there was no coach, which is a hard place to be. So we're really excited about the young class that we have. And then the second part of your question, I have felt a tangible excitement. I feel like the West Coast and really nationally has been waiting for USC to be relevant again. I mean, it's LA. It's the basketball hotbed of the world right now. This is a university that our current administration values female athletes and specifically said, we want to go and get a coach that we think can help make this a championship program. And, that commitment to me, it wasn't, there's jobs that pop up and then there's the right fit and the right time. And the conversations I had with Mike Bone, when I wasn't thinking about college basketball at all in May, other than to be a fan, right? He really changed my mindset in terms of his commitment. And that's something that I'm able to share with people that we're recruiting. The only knock, on USC in the past several years is, do they care enough about women's basketball? And I think now that the answer is a resounding yes. And it's really exciting to be part with this group to say, let's get back to the tournament. Let's change people's perception, and it only builds from there. And I think they're the ones whose legacy is going to be left on that. It's not me, right? This is USC. It's always going to be about the school and the athletic tradition, and we want the current women's basketball program to be at the top of that.
Hi, ladies. Alissa, Janie McCauley, Associated Press. I saw you go down at Santa Cruz that day with the ankle, and it just seemed like you never got to get in a rhythm last season of momentum from your freshman of the year season. How are you now physically, and do you feel like it's almost a fresh start for you after such a tough season for you last year with the ankle issues?
Yes, last year was definitely kind of disappointing for me. It was really hard to go through, and yeah, I'm just really excited for this year. And yeah, like you said, it is a clean slate for me to just start new and show everybody that I'm back.
And what has Lindsay brought from that NBA experience that is sort of fun and also just the credibility from having coached the pros to that she can bring to your program? Both of you can weigh in on that.
She's brought a lot of new terminology, a lot of new actions. Everything is just so new to us, and we're doing a good job of executing them, and just we're still learning. So we continue to learn, and I think that we're doing a good job. Yeah.
Jordan, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said before, just the knowledge aspect of it. We just get to learn more about the game, about ourselves, and just each other as a program, really.
And Jordan, how eager are you to see Alissa sort of, back in her, full strength and at her top form after, just never being able to sort of rely on that ankle last year to do what she likes to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very eager. She's a great player, and I love playing with her. So I'm excited for this season.
This question is for Jordan, and it's a little bit off the basketball subject. I think one of the things that really stood out to me about you was your commitment to voices of your teammates and of yourself regarding mental health on and off the court. whether it was from your previous school or coming into your experience at USC. That takes some guts. You stepped away a little bit from the game. You penned a letter that was very powerful. A couple of years ago, when people weren't talking about the importance of mental health for our student athletes, you were. What prompted that, and have you experienced some folks saying, "Oh my gosh, thank you, and let me pitch in and help you be that voice as well"?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy kind of coming out and talking about myself and my struggles and just everything that I've been through, and taking that time away from basketball honestly helped me find myself and really just the love of the game more. But since then, I mean, I've heard a lot from a lot of different people just saying that they appreciate my honesty and just like me being so genuine with who I am and just about the things that I go through. I think it's really important for athletes in this kind of environment to just speak up about what they're going through, because I feel like a lot of the time, a lot of people don't necessarily feel comfortable with sharing their story and what they're going through just for fears of looking weak. But I think it just takes that much more strength to actually speak up about what's been going on and how you feel.
Jordan, thank you for that. For everyone, we're so impressed by how the younger generation is breaking that wall of silence. So first of all, thank you for that. Lindsay is your third college coach in your 5 years. You don't have a lot of time with her. I'm wondering what your philosophy is in terms of adapting quickly to your new coach, her coaching style, as you've had to do a couple times throughout your career.
Yeah, I mean, hasn't been ideal to have 3 coaches in the past few years, but I just try to take everything as it comes and do whatever the team needs me to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, Lindsay, Ben Parker here. Good to see you. CardinalSportsReport.com. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on the differences between starting here at USC versus when you started at Cal. And when you started at Cal, you had some experience with the program as an assistant head coach, associate head coach, left but came back. This time you're coming into a new program that you haven't been at before. So you come in with more experience knowing the league. So what's maybe different starting with the USC versus Cal, and any things you've maybe learned along the way that maybe has helped you that you didn't have when you started at Cal?
Your move was bolder than mine, Ben. From Cal to Stanford, even different than Cal to USC. So
yeah, it was really bold for sure.
I think the thing that's most different is that I'm different, right? I mean, it's 10 years since I started at Cal. So I think the perspective I bring is different, right? You just gain knowledge with the years that you do it. You gain relationships with players. You figure out how to connect with different people, different styles. So I think I'm a little bit more self-assured and know a few more things just in terms of like letting it come to me. There are a lot of similarities. I remember sitting in that locker room when I got to Cal, and I said, "This isn't broken." Right? They had come off of 2 years in a row of not making the NCAA tournament, and I felt like it was my job not to rebuild or recreate, but to just galvanize that group and say, this is what we can do. And that is very similar to our situation at USC. I looked at them, I don't think it's broken. You mentioned, Joan, like there's not a lack of talent in the room. There's not a lack of willingness. I think it's just they need a leader to kind of show them the direction. We did a lot of like team culture things this summer, and they were great. Communicative in it, but we did one on like what it takes to become elite. And so I did a little bit of like PowerPoint with some data and analytics about teams that were in the Sweet 16 and teams that were in the Final Four, and said to my coaching staff after, like, wow, they were kind of quiet in that one. And, we said, well, they don't really know. Like, they don't really know. They can talk about what a good teammate looks like or what leadership looks like. They're basketball players, but they need maybe someone to show them direction of, no, this is how you become at the top of the pack. This is how you get elite. And that's very similar to, I think, what that Cal team needed at the time, and we were able to get that done pretty quickly. So those I think are the similarities.
Michelle Smith, Pac-12.com. Lindsay, you mentioned reaching out to Stan Van Gundy. I'm just curious how your resource base has increased from your experience in Cleveland in terms of the people that you can tap into, the knowledge base, and how valuable that is for you and ultimately the team. And then the second part of this is, what do you not know about this team yet until they get on the floor, and what do you think you know about this team already?
So the first thing in terms of the resources, like as I just step away and kind of think about like where the journey has taken me, I think that actually might be where like I fit in this whole story of women and men's basketball and college and pros, is that there's a synergy between all of it that is much more natural than what people think, right? I've talked a lot about the guys in the NBA. It was very clear that what they value in a coach transcends gender, right? And same with the coaching staff and these players here. You guys are asking them a lot of questions about what it feels like to have someone coaching the NBA. I don't think they think about it that way. It's just like, can I connect to them? Can I teach them something? That's what they care about. Do you care about me as a human being, and can you make me better, right? And so in terms of the NBA thing, yeah, I feel like my resources are much more wide. I made a lot of relationships. And if you know someone, then you can call someone, right? And LA is a great place for that. A lot of the NBA guys live in LA in the off season. They all work out there. So we've made our arena available. They can come in and work out. I had some of our guys come through during the summer, which is great. So I'm hoping that's the reason I got connected in the NBA in the first place. I just wanted to learn. I wanted to go sit in practices when Phil Jackson and Kobe and those guys were running the triangle, and I got in their practices. And then obviously the relationship with Steve Kerr with the Warriors, and all of a sudden then the world changed where people started thinking about that women could potentially be in that league. But for me, it was always just about knowledge base. So now I see those resources as connecting that to be able to help our players, right? Like, why shouldn't Liz, when it's time, work out with an NBA guy to get ready, right? Like, Sanders is a bucket. The ways I can get her open is more similar to the ways that, I would get a guy open in the NBA off of like some screening action or whatever. So that's just the way my mind works. So the more that I can use those resources to help them as basketball players and people, I'm hoping that I can bring that to this opportunity. And that's really what it's about, right? To help get people where they want to go. And then what was the second part? What am I going to learn? What do you know about them and what do you not know? I have not had to coach effort one day in practice, so I know that they're really invested, they're into it, they're genuine. I think you don't know until game time occurs, like how they're going to respond to things, right? Like I think you don't know that. It's kind of fun, right? You figure out we did a scrimmage day the other day, and it was kind of cool to see what they're like, on game day. So I think there's a lot of that excitement of the newness, but I know that they're really good people. They're committed to each other and to SC, and so I'm excited for the whole journey with them.
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeet.com. Hi, Lindsay. This question is for the players. Your coach mentioned a little while ago USC having a Mount Rushmore of players. In this WNBA season, they had the W25 with 25 of the best players of all time. 3 of those 25 came from USC. What does that mean for you as far as your motivation to live up to that standard and be successful in your career so far with, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper, and Lisa Leslie being among that group?
It's definitely a great opportunity to be at USC, especially with the history. It's something that we're working towards every day to just get our names back up to where it's supposed to be. And, yeah, I think just the opportunity, it's great. Like, it's something that I think about at least every day, and I think I think our coach reminds us about it all the time, and yeah.
I think it's great motivation to just look up and see all those legends and, to bring that name back up, like Jordan said.
This question is for both Alissa and Jordan. Cindy Brunson, Pac-12 Network's play-by-play voice. We have seen the transfer portal light up like a Christmas tree, but you guys decided to stay. Why?
I have so much love for this team. We've been through so much together, and I think that those tough times brought us closer together, and it just made me want to stay and build with this team even more.
Yeah, and for me, last year being my first year, it was good, and just the relationships that I built with everybody on and off the court, I just felt like there was more to be done.
All right, if there's nothing else, Jordan, Alissa, Lindsay, thank you so much.